What's up, guys? So this is the start of maybe something new, and I'll explain what I mean. So I was just in the middle of my workout. I was talking to the Lord about just some things in the future and what I am to do in the meantime and in the between time to become everything that the Lord has desired for me to become. And I asked him a question, and the answer that he gave me is the reason that we are having a conversation right here and right now. As I was asking the Lord about my future and what I'm supposed to do now, the Lord simply said to give you guys what I desire as well. And my camera's only on like 16%, so we're gonna have to talk about this quick. So in the middle of my workout, the Lord wanted me to sit down and to share with you something, anything that He's teaching me personally that you also need to be encouraged with as well. I do these videos quite often. I have 2 different podcasts. I do the Bible study series up here. Like I have a Jesus and Singleness series available. Like I talk about Jesus and life all the time, but I think this is something different and new and spontaneous, and so we're just gonna run with it. There are so many different things in just sitting here of like what I could talk about, and I think we're just gonna start and see where the Lord ends up. So my camera just cut off completely. Back to what I was saying. There's so many things that I think we can talk about and just sitting down right here and right now, but I think this is the start of something beautiful, and the spontaneity of this is so the Lord, and I just hope that He meets us in this conversation. So really the first thing that comes to mind to me are boundaries. So, and the Lord telling me to provide the same resources that I need, it's really in the realm of boundaries. What I mean by that is that the Lord has given me certain boundaries to stay within, not because the things that He's told me to stay away from is quote unquote bad, but simply because there is His reason behind me not participating in those things. And so it's a very interesting situation and scenario. It's because I feel like boundaries are healthy when you keep them holy. And I think boundaries can be holy as long as you are surrendered to the Lord. So boundaries are a healthy and a safe space as long as you are surrendered to the Lord and understanding the holiness and the divinity attached to the boundaries that God has given you. We think because we can't do something or shouldn't do something that it's a bad thing, but really it's a holy thing. And if we want to be holy beings, as the Lord commands us in His word to be holy as He is holy, then we're going to have to do some things that maybe aren't comfortable for us, or something that we would choose for ourselves. But if it is His boundaries that He has intentionally and kindly given to us, we should obey that because there's some holiness attached to it. So I've never shared this publicly, but I really think it's important that I share with you my personal boundaries that the Lord has given me. And let me just say that I have not been obedient to these boundaries that the Lord has given me, not because they're difficult, especially when you hear them, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, Lexi, like you can obey those boundaries. Not because they're difficult to obey, but simply because I didn't want to. So that's disobedience on my part. That's flesh on my part. But anyway, the boundaries that the Lord has given me is to watch no reels, no vlogs, and to not daydream. Those are the 3 things. Now you may be wondering, okay, where are those boundaries coming from and why? You really have to know my whole story to understand the reasons behind those boundaries. But let's start with the daydreaming. Very, very quickly, I have grown up always wanting the life of someone else and never really satisfied or been able to celebrate the life that I have and what the Lord is doing in my life or what He wants to do, because I've compared and I've always strived strive to live someone else's life, and I've never really sat to actually be and become all that the Lord wanted me to do and me to become. So in the daydreaming, I often think of what I want to have in a romantic relationship, or what I want to do in a future endeavor. And to plan and think of the future is not a bad thing. However, for me, it becomes a hindering thing rather than a holy thing. And as we mentioned, boundaries are meant to be holy. And so if daydreaming detaches me from holiness, then I need to remove myself from the things that is stripping me of becoming more holy as the Lord wants me to become. So again, in the daydreaming, I cannot think of future romantic relationships, what I would want the guy to look like, or what I would love for us to do in life, or what I would hope that, our relationship would be and contain, and all the things. I can't think of that. But growing up, there's all of these movies and shows and happily ever afters and fairy tales, and the world is feeding you romanticized living, but in the reality of many people's lives is that it's far from it. And so I had watched and anticipated my life to have a happily ever after and to be all the oohs and ahs of a relationship, but my reality is I'm single and I have no one pursuing me, and there is something that the Lord is doing in me in my singleness. So daydreaming is one of them, that I cannot go into a space that I am not currently occupying, meaning I cannot think about romantic relationships if I'm currently single, and that's just a personal boundary for me. So the things that I do for that is, and I struggle with it because I am someone who loves to think of the romantic relationship and what it would be like and what I would hope it to be, and all the things. However, it's not best for me, and so I have to be mindful of that. The second thing, and they all three really go together in the sense of not looking at someone else's life, but living the life that God has given me. Because in the reels and in the vlogs, I am looking at the lives of other people and what they're doing, or how they're successful, or what the Lord has blessed them with, or the influence that they have. And instead of celebrating what the Lord is doing there, I'm comparing how I'm not where they are, or how I'm lacking what they have, and that is not holy. So boundaries are meant to be holy when in the hands of our Lord. But if we take those boundaries and do away with them, then we cannot become all that the Lord has created us to be. Some of us can actually miss our purpose in life if we are not placing ourselves in the purpose in the hands of God. And so I don't want to do that anymore, and I have done that in the past. And so this is where boundaries come in. And so I think we're just going to have these talks where I share with you my life and what the Lord's doing, and they're just going to be kind of short, maybe. I don't know. But, this is just the Lord in the middle of my workout, to stop, to sit, to talk, to encourage, and to be encouraged. This is the goodness of our God. And so I hope He has met you where you are when it comes in the realm of boundaries. So be obedient to God and the boundaries that He's placed in your life, because He knows what He's doing, and He loves you with an endless, agape, never-ending, overwhelming, reckless kind of love. I mean, He is madly in love with you. And I think a lot of times we are not obedient to a God who gave everything for us because we don't understand the beauty and the true fullness of the sacrifice He made for us. And so reading His word is very important, because in His book is His love letter to us personally. So as you are walking out the boundaries that God has given you, may you never forget that He is madly in love with you. May you never forget that He has a love letter written for you. It is His word. And may you never underestimate the power of being obedient to Him, and the beauty and the greatness that it can provide and fulfill in not only your life, but in those around you and those to come after you. This is not just about us. This is all about the Lord, His glory, and the good of other people, again, around us now and soon to come after us. I hope this encouraged you somehow, some way. I love you guys so much, and I'll see y'all the next time the Lord wants us to talk. Bye.